Start streaming. Well, I think I finally was able to connect. So guys, while you just enter there, I just need to refresh the link that I sent on Instagram. The previous link was broken. So just in a moment for use. And let's see if I have the chat. Right on. So let me know if you can hear me well. I'm just trying to set things up here because I think I finally learned how to share my screen while I talk to you. So I think this definitely is gonna be a nice experience here on. Let me just delete this one. And while I wait you to jump into the live, let me check here. Let me know if you can hear me well. Hello Daniela, nice to see you here. I just need a moment to refresh the links that I posted on Instagram, because otherwise people won't be able to join the live. So it's just technical issues to resolve, and I'll be ready in a bit. So tell me, how was the experience during this TRECENA? Live on YouTube on this new link. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think we are all set. Let me just start the streaming also on Instagram. And here we go. So I hope you guys can hear me from both places. Oh no, oh yeah, no, was that the right account? What a fright. So let me see here. Can you hear me? I'm live here on Instagram and also on YouTube. If you use like a better experience to watch the live so I can share the graphics, go on YouTube or onto the YouTube. The link is on my story. So there I can finally learned how to share my graphics during the live stream here from my desktop. So I think it would be a nice experience watching from YouTube. Later I will try to learn that here on Instagram as well. But for today, as it's already a victory for me, the experience is gonna be nicer on YouTube. So if you want the link, the link is on. It's on the story. All right. Let me write in here while I just wait for you to arrive here on YouTube. And yeah, let's see if I also can. Yeah, things working down here. So just waiting for some of you to join the live. So let me just position here the chat. Let me know if you can hear me fine. I know Daniela can. And so I'm just trying to get used to this new setup here on YouTube. Sorry for the delay, only technical issues. And so yeah, I already warned everybody here on Instagram. So let's go to start. So guys, I'm just gonna fix, if you would like to follow the link directly from your computer, I'm going to write down for you in here. So, but I would like to hear how was your experience with this past TRECENA, because now we are just about to start the TRECENA of Oshlahu Cat. Me. So yes, I think I can. So I just left in the comments, there is my website there, if you'd like to go there to see everything. And so let me share the screen here, and let me know if you can see the screen that I'm about to share. So here in my website, there is this nawal calculator. So just go here for the home page. That is the calculator button. Then here, what are you gonna be doing? You can search for the day of today, and then you can follow me into the process of following the graphics here of the snake. And so I think, let me see if I can see the people here as well. So yeah, I think that's everybody here. So we can start. So guys, we're just about to wrap up the Oshlahu Bat's TRECENA. You can write down in the comment section below here in the chat, how was your experience with this TRECENA? I always love to listen, how was your experience? If you had anything interesting happening, feel free to share here in the comment section. And so this TRECENA that we just wrapped up was a TRECENA of the big interconnections, as we saw in the past week. This TRECENA was a TRECENA of the things to resolve, things that started with a new vision, the new flashes of intuition that could give you some ideas of the things you could interconnect, the things you could connect the dots. People on Instagram, if you would like to have a better experience in watching the live, just hop into the YouTube. The link is on my story, okay? But for those who prefer to stick in here, I'm gonna be try to look at both cameras, right? So this TRECENA was a TRECENA of this new vision, this new flash of intuition that would just, you know, enlighten things so we know what to connect, or the things that show us like how to intervene to a situation that we need to resolve. Like the lightning is just like the thread that connects the sky and the earth. And so that's the basically the nawal bats, and also the representation of the lightning that we can see through nawal Kawuq, and also the nawal kan here in the head of the TRECENA. So this was the TRECENA, that we could have like so many brilliant ideas to start creating beautiful stuff, or even just to come up with solutions of the stuff that we need to resolve. So that's the main thing about this Oshlahu Bat TRECENA. But this TRECENA also could be having started here with this one Kawuq as a new trouble as well, like a new unquiet stuff, like new unquiet moments that you feel like a trembling on inside of you, that makes you start acting in exasperation. But that was just like the fresh beginning, something very light, just a spark of clarity, just like sheet lightning, like we only see the flashes of light in there. But the bats was pulling the TRECENA so we can connect the dots and starting seeing the big picture over there. So we move through this TRECENA to start just getting to know like what we could do, like how we could intervene, like connecting the dots. What are the passionate things we could create in this TRECENA, like these big ideas that we could interconnect. And now we are just moving to the Oshlahukat TRECENA. So depending on how this TRECENA finished for you, if it was with these big interconnections, these amazing creations, but also if it was like with this big frustration, if it was a heavy TRECENA for you, now this next TRECENA is going to be continue with what this past TRECENA left. So now if you go to my calculator, if you just search for the next day, like the 5th of March, then you can already see the first nawal that we're starting here, and the entire graphics of the TRECENA. So here we are going to be starting with the Oshlahukat TRECENA. This TRECENA is going to be the TRECENA of the big efforts or the big tasks, to sustain. Maybe we could create a lot of stuff, like we could accumulate big entanglements in the past TRECENA because of those big threads of nawabats. And sometimes those big ideas, sometimes they can overload us. Sometimes, they can be like a heavy burden for us to carry. Sometimes we don't know what to do or how to carry on with those ideas. And for us to continue into this path in a light way, being able to use all of the ideas in the best way as possible, sometimes we need to cut some of those ideas to make sure they won't be weighing too much on our back. So that's what this TRECENA is going to be talking about. It's going to be talking about like the price of our commitments to our friends, also to our projects, to everything we are carrying. So this TRECENA can be the TRECENA of this task that we need to do, because after having like the ideas, okay, it's beautiful to envision everything. It's beautiful to just to stay in the creative mode. But what really is going to be taking, our ideas and making them come into life are the tasks, are the efforts we put on to materialize them, to sharpen them up. And that's exactly what this TRECENA is going to be talking about. This TRECENA is going to be starting with 1E, one pathfinder, which is the new path. So after these big interconnections, after these big resolutions of the past TRECENA, now we need to start taking this into a new direction. So now one is the spring, like this fresh water just breaking the skin of the earth, looking for a path. It's a very soft energy, just trying to see like where it wants to move. But what is pushing already the TRECENA forward is this 13K TRECENA, this big now over here, in the very end. So this novel is going to be talking about like the efforts of this path, like this, as soon as you start walking, as soon as you start just picturing where you like to take all those big creations from the past TRECENA, now you're already going to be having tasks to manage. But if you ended up entangled in the past TRECENA or frustrated, you, as I always mention, we always can start anew. We always can start things, again. We can always try to find new paths for us to go. Because now A is also the now of the melancholy. It's whenever, like, those moments whenever you keep just looking back, you don't want to progress because you're stuck in the past. So, or you don't know where to go, how to do stuff. So, and then you just keep looking back in the stuff. Hello, ICO. You can leave your questions in here. So after I finish the analysis, I go back to answer all of the questions. Okay, so I don't get entangled here and start losing the flow here. So as I was saying, this one pathfinder is gonna be like this new path, like this fresh new path, looking for a path. But sometimes we can decide if we want to stay like in the path of melancholy, if things went wrong in the past TRECENA, or if you want to move, just trying to push or try to look for a new way. Sometimes in our we talks about advancing in the path, even if we have just to go backwards, just to change the direction to find a new place. So first, but also to acknowledge, what do you have in your path? What are the things that are making you feel melancholic? What are the things that you feel that is not making you progress in the path? So in this first day, it's always a good day to start acknowledging stuff. What are the stuff that are weighing you down? What kind of things in this path like are being heavy for you? Maybe you could be overthinking too much. So in this first day of the TRECENA is always a great day to start acknowledging this stuff. Then we move to Aq'ab'al, to transformation. Let me just highlight here so everybody who's arrived can see what now we are talking about. So now we move to Aq'ab'al, to transformation. Now 2 is a now of the retraction. It's the moment of the TRECENA to make our calculations, to project the stuff we would like to achieve in the TRECENA. It could be like the way that we start like programming ourselves. What are the stuff that we gotta do? But also it's a good moment to look back to what happened to the past TRECENA and see how we can correct those mistakes. Use like the old to start building something new in a better way. And now is the now of the transformation. Is a now that talks about the changes, talks about putting things, taking things out of the incompleteness mode over there. Because every time we, as I was mentioning, in the past TRECENA we were creating. So we were in this accumulation of creations. So we could have many ideas, but sometimes we don't know what to do with those ideas. So they just only stay in this realm of our heads. But the thing, we need to know how to take them into this incomplete process. Like having an idea, just build up like these big ideas, as was this previous TRECENA, is only the first step. Now you need to decide what kind of direction you would like to take those ideas in our 1A, but now how to take them from this incompleteness process in this TRECENA of the tasks is what we need to do. Sometimes we need to adapt those ideas to make them work. So now talks about that, talks about adapting like those ideas to a new circumstance, adapting those ideas so you can change whatever is necessary over there, start transforming over there. Of course, many times we can get anxiety in the process. Sometimes it's easier to picture the big picture rather than just putting the effort and go there and start working on them. So now Art talks about like this unpleasant process sometimes that are necessary for you to move from one stage to the other. Because otherwise, if we are already like full of ideas and sometimes these ideas are weighing us down, as this 13 cuts is already suggesting us, like the accumulation of heaviness on our back are making us just to waste energy. Because now cut, like the ruler of this TRECENA, is the descending fire, the fire that is consuming already all of the fuel and just making you feel exhausted, just how you're burning your energy. So this is something that we need to be aware in this TRECENA, to not overload ourselves, to not only having ideas, but we need to do the things in the same proportion here, having ideas and also applying them, putting them into action as well. So we know like that we are able to manage all of those energies, to dedicate to our projects, just to feel healthy with ourselves. So this 2R is the process of calculating what are the steps that need to be adapted in this TRECENA for things to work. Is the process for you to calculate the transformation you like to achieve from all of those ideas from the past TRECENA. So it's the moment to correct the stuff that wasn't aligned in the past TRECENA. And then from 2R, we're gonna be moving to Oshib Ish Palam, 3 Jaguar. Now 3 Jaguar is a now to open the path for the fertility, is a now to open the path for the development. Now 3 is the water that opens the path, that goes forward, is like the most active masculine energy that we can see here in the TRECENA. And now Ish Falam is a nawal that we refer to the Jaguar, because we always associate the way the Jaguar behaves there in nature, because it roams the surroundings, exploring stuff, is curious, but it's also in a way like the Jaguar carries like the cub, like the pregnant Jaguar, female Jaguar looks after the cub, gestating, and also Jaguar being like the one that's like the animal that controls the environment as well. So it talks about gestating, is also the fertility, as the Jaguar is also the representation of the planet Earth. So this fertility is what can give us all of this stuff that we need to gestate or to build in here. The Jaguar also talks about the material material abundance that we can create with this stuff that we start doing. So everything we plant in the past TRECENA, so the Jaguar is the one that builds this stuff. So that's one particular thing that we can see in this Oshib Ish Falam. So Oshib Ish Falam is the moment of the TRECENA to start opening the path, to build stuff. Even if you need to diverge to different directions. But sometimes we need to be aware to not diverge too much. Remember, because this TRECENA can bring like lots of weights on our back. And as I mentioned for you in the beginning, we need to be aware of how many ideas we have, if we're able to handle all of them, so they cannot become only like an unnecessary weight that we carry on our bag. So we need to be aware of that, for not carrying like unnecessary materials to build stuff. So this TRECENA, we need to be aware of that. So for us to be able to build this stuff, we need to open the path for the fertility to flow, to open the path for this construction, or also sometimes to explore stuff, sometimes get new ideas or fresh or practical ideas from other stuff. So that's what 3 Jaguar is going to be talking about. But also, depending on how the TRECENA is moving, we need to be aware for not dispersing too much, so we can become boring. because whenever we lose the fertility because of we are too dispersed. And then from 3 Jaguar, we're gonna be moving to Tz'ikin for eagle. Now for eagle is the nawal of the establishing our straightforward actions. Is the moment where you can settle down, you can sit down and start working better. So it's going straightforward. As I was mentioning, if the Jaguar roams the surrounding, like in circles, is the feminine aspects of nature, the planet Earth. Eagle is going to be bringing the masculine aspects by going straightforward, just following the metaphor of the eagle that is flying up in the sky, and when it sees a prey, it goes straight forward. So it talks about the sky, just like whenever the midday sun, like the light comes direct and straight forward to the earth, or the rain that comes straight forward to the earth. That's the property of the nawal Tz'ikin. So in here, as I said, like we need to be very focused in this TRECENA. So for ego is the day to establish our focus. If we disperse too much in the now 3 Jaguar, because sometimes we try to overcome an obstacle, sometimes we cannot be able to do that properly. So sometimes we may lose our attention by dispersing a little bit. So now in the 4 ego is the moment to pause, to establish what is our main focus. So that's the stuff to do here. Is the moment to pause, see the things that you already are building, see the materials you already have, settle down with that, work a little bit onto that, instead of just having ideas and not making anything with them, just making them exist in your head. So this is about doing the efforts, and we need to be very focused on the things we can do and the things we cannot do. If you see that there are some ideas that you had in the past TRECENA that are not working, or they are being like too much trouble, or just making you waste too much unnecessary time, this is the TRECENA to cut this stuff. It's the TRECENA to remove this unnecessary weight from your back. Because otherwise the 4 ego is going to be representing that you're going to be stagnant in being dispersed. So, and that's what we want to avoid in this TRECENA. And then from 4 ego, Tz'ikin, we're going to be moving to Ajmaq, as you can see here in the graphics on YouTube. By the way, let me know here if you can see that very well. Here on YouTube, I can see your comments here, but I'm gonna be going back later after I finalize the analysis. Okay. So now in this 5 complementarity Ajmaq is where things we can just give we can give like 150%, because this is the most charged energy of this TRECENA. So now 5 is the now that overflows, is the now of the water that has no containment. But we need to watch out. So if you already establish your vision in the 4 ego, now you can flow with it. So just go and do your complementary actions. Because now Ajmaq is the one that combines the complementary opposites, just like the female Jaguar and the masculine ego, so you can build something else. So you can have like a product, so you can have like the newborns, as is the now that talks about the cycle of the ancestors. Is the now that talks about procreation and the continuity of our lineage. So Ajmaq is going to be talking about the overflow of complementarities, but we need to have things in proportion in that, because now like the amount of ideas, but also the amount of straightforward actions, the amount like the proper actions to make things come to fruition. That's something that we need to bear in mind, because otherwise, we can, if you disperse too much in the ideas you are having or the things you are trying to build in the TRECENA, Ajmaq, like if you're not focusing in the vision, Ajmaq can enter into blindness. Those blind excitements that only makes you do mistakes. Because Ajmaq talks about that. Talks about whenever like you are obfuscated by the light. If Tz'ikin talks about the midday sun, just like Ajmaq represents whenever like you're too excited and just look straight to the midday sun. So you can get blind for a moment. So then you don't know where you're going. It's also a metaphor to explain whenever you fall in love, whenever you go blind by your emotions. So that sometimes it start accumulating stuff, on our back. Sometimes we try to help people too much on their things, and we don't give a proper attention for the stuff that we are trying to build. So that's one of the things that we need to be aware in Ajmaq. If you are having our feet on the floor, if you're just doing the straightforward actions just to build stuff. So that's one of the things to be aware, because like the blindness caused here in this 5 Ajmaq, we'll have like a direct interference of how Kawuq is going to be pushing things, so it can be accumulating more and more stuff into our bag. So and sometimes like the cuts that we're going to be having to do might be like more difficult. So you need to be aware. But if you are in the right direction, if your things are just flowing, it's a day to present our ideas for the people, try to get sponsors. Is a good day just to release your stuff for the world, to seize a very charged day to initiate stuff, but only those things that you want to, like a big blast of energy. This can be an amazing day. And then from Ajmaq, I'm gonna be moving to Aq'ab'al, the heart of this TRECENA. The nawal 6 is the heart of the TRECENA. Is the moment of the TRECENA where I can put things on the scale just to make our ponderations. So this is the moment where you can see like maybe like where like our heart is heading, but where also our head is also heading. So we need to try to find like a good balance between like our heart and our mind. Because nawal is going to be talking about the thoughts. It's not associated with the mind. It's more about like how we sense and think about stuff. But not thinking only with the mind, but also listen to how our body thinks, how our body speaks. So like our stomach, like our nerve system and everything, how we experience and compress like this stuff with information. So it's going to be talking about the nawal of planning stuff. It's the nawal of absorbing the information, just trying to put everything in their own library, in their own cases. So this is the nawal that we can synthesize the information. So 6 nawal can be a very contradictive nawal, because sometimes like the mind doesn't talk to the heart in the same language. So it can be a little bit tricky, especially if we are in blindness because of Ajmaq. So now nawal is going to be talking about pondering the plan. So it's a good day for you to go back and revisit your ideas from the past TRECENA, in what direction you are taking in this new TRECENA. If you have been able to follow the plan, or if you just have been like overloading yourself with ideas that doesn't connect. So that can be a tricky thing for the nawal, because the cold side of nawal is whenever we start overthinking, whenever you just putting like too much weight in your head. And remember, as being the heart of the TRECENA, we need to ponder like how much weight we are carrying, because everything it's all about how we manage our energy in this stuff. Sometimes we are not able to complete stuff or to follow the plan because our mind is going to be like in the help we are trying to provide to our friends. It can be a noble stuff, but you need to be able to also to help yourself. So we need to be able to manage the plan properly in that. Sometimes the quantity of thoughts, of ideas that you are carrying is what weighing you down. So it's a good day for you to filter your ideas if you still weren't able to do that. So it's a day to put your ideas on the scale and decide what ideas will stick and what ideas we're gonna be sending to cut. To avoid like an infection, because of the overthinking and making us losing energy, being exhausted by the end of the TRECENA. Okay? Then from 6, nawal, we're gonna be moving to Tijax, the climax of this TRECENA, the 7 cut nawal. Here we're gonna be finalizing the first part of the TRECENA. And by this first part, we can already see like all of this accumulation, where the TRECENA is pushing stuff already there in the future. So 7 Tijax is the day to do the final cut. It's the day to, after you ponder all your plans, ponder all your thoughts, you can go there and cut the unnecessary thoughts, cut the unnecessary stuff that you have been carrying. To avoid for you to get hurt, for you to be exhausted, for you to, taking stuff, let like all your ideas just extenuate your energy, your spirit, because we need to be able just to do like this final cut, like this final incision, to be able to heal ourselves, to be able to heal our projects as well, just to make us see something materialize, especially if you are an entrepreneur. Because if you like just to take your ideas out of the paper just to make like a living of your own ideas, it's completely necessary that you know how to filter what can be done and also what doesn't work, that need to be cut. That's something that we need to be doing in this 7 Tijax. So it's a proper day for you to let things go. Let like the things to get more accumulating like necessary stuff until the end of the TRECENA, because that can make you feeling hurt, that can accumulate wounds on you. But can be an amazing healing whenever you release the stuff that you feel that doesn't serve you any longer. Then from Tijax, we're gonna be moving to Kawuq. Kawuq is the return of the vision. So this is the now of the return of the intuition as well. Last time we saw the Kawuq was in the now 1 in the beginning of the previous TRECENA, but now Kawuq is coming back stronger. Now Kawuq has like a more presence. It wasn't like just like a very sudden light. Because after you connect the dots in the previous TRECENA, find your path, release this stuff in this first part of the TRECENA, now you're able to walk way lighter and to tune your vision to what are the things that you need to do, how to transform them. In the beginning of the TRECENA, as we saw here in the 1A, we were looking for our direction. And sometimes like we do not always know like what kind of stuff we're gonna be doing with the ideas we have. We don't know like how to proceed after we open the door with that. But after cutting everything, like filtering everything in the first part of the TRECENA, now the vision is amplified. Now you know how to, like, maybe we're gonna be having better insights with how to proceed and avoid being extenuated. You might have a better vision. What are the big tasks that you have to handle in the TRECENA? So the 8 Kawuqs can be an amazing day for you to return to your vision. Maybe there is a space for you to add some new insights and fresh insights as you already free your bag from not getting accumulated of unnecessary stuff. But depending on how the TRECENA is going for each one of you, 8 Kawuq might, if we start with the melancholy and the bitterness in our and barrenness in our ish, stagnation in Kahib Tz'ikin, and so on, now Kawuq can be the return of the exasperation moments, or the return whenever you find yourself in trouble over again. And that's one of the things that we need to avoid in here. Try to learn with this first part of the TRECENA, because this first part will also dictate, like, it makes us see better how this 13 cat, the ruler of this TRECENA, is pushing things forward over there towards the accumulation. As I always mention, in Maya, there is no such a thing as fate, but it's more like a destination. Everything you do, already inclines to a new destination. So the more aware we are, like the more we are able to make conscious decisions in there, the more we're going to be seeing what is going to be like the real destination of stuff. So in this 8 Kawuq can be an amazing day for you to start seeing this stuff and how to travel in a safer and nicer way towards the accumulation. Okay, because Kawuq can also represent like the sudden rage acting in exasperation. So try to avoid that. And then moving from Washakib Kawuq, we're gonna be moving to Belaer Junajpu, 9 Sun. Now 9 is the now of the gestation of the stream, the things that are on closed doors over there, hidden from sight, just like the gears that makes the clock run, but so you cannot see them, but there is like those gears, just like the inner rivers in the earth, like we cannot see that, but we know that we can find the springs because there is a water running over there. So the now 9 talks what is hidden in the TRECENA. And now Junajpu talks about the battle to get out of the darkness. It's the battle to overcome your insecurities. It's the battle just to bring things into the light. So after the returning of the intuition in Kawuq, maybe we know better like this battle. We know how to gestate that better. We know like what is our inner process to make things work. Like just to keep doing like this process of this effort, this task, like the reason behind them. Remember in the first part of the TRECENA, we went through this tuah over here. This tuah was talking about to calculate the transformation, calculate the changes. So now in this first, like the second return of this second part of the TRECENA, we can already gestate, the things that how we're gonna be taking them like out of the darkness, just to bring them to the light. What are the tasks that we need to do? Sometimes when we don't know what to do, as I was mentioning in the beginning of the TRECENA, it's kind of hard. We just have the ideas, but we don't know what are the real tasks, the real effort that we need to put on. So 9 Junajpu is going to be talking about like gestating, the strength, gestating the courage that you need just to move on with those tasks. As nawal was talking about those things that are unpleasant. Sometimes you're not going to be very well excited to do them. So Junajpu is going to be talking about, 9 Junajpu is going to be talking about, developing these tasks and developing this process so you can get things out of the darkness. And also, as I mentioned, so we could open the path there with this 3 Jaguar. We also needed to have like the thing on the screen, the right plan to follow, what we want to build as well. So in the second part, we know what to gestate, like how to see that better, like how to take things out of the darkness. And then from Belaer Junajpu, we're going to be moving to Laur Imox, 10 water. Now 10 is a nawal that talks about the convergence. So it's the now that talks about everything coming together in one single place. We can also, as I always mention, is a day that we can also do some collaboration work with people. And so this is the time to collaborate with the flow of this stuff. If Ishvalam in the beginning was talking about like the divergence of the path, to build stuff, maybe the divergence that could be makes us explore different scenarios to make things work. Now we need to converge the injection of strength that now Imox is going to be talking about. Like if you just state so many ideas in the Ishvalam, like you saw so many useful things, now you need to be able to inject and force into these ideas, into the things that we are building. But it needs to be everything in the correct dose. Because now in the first part of the TRECENA, we also had the Kahib Tz'ikin over here that was talking about the sun. So between like the ideas that we are just stating, the straightforward actions, we need to find the right dose. So if we weren't able to do that in the first part of the TRECENA, now we can compensate that with this 10 Imox. Sometimes we can even ask for the help of other people, as this is the TRECENA of the tasks. Now is the TRECENA also just to help the others as well. It's the energy that we burn to give life to the others. So that's something that we need to bear in mind here. Because also now Imox can be like the now whenever we went to confusion. Because if you open the path for so many ideas, so many different directions, we can maybe be converging confusion. So that's a good day for you to present your ideas, the things that we are building for other people, to see if they can help you, to see if you are on the right track, to avoid you entering into this realm of confusion and misunderstanding. So it's a day for you to converge, to find your flow in there, your flow in a balanced way, in a well-dosed way, so you can avoid accumulating unnecessary stuff. And then from Laur Imox, we're gonna be jumping to Laur Yek, 11 wind. Now 11 and now Yek, they are very similar, like they are cousins in meanings. Now 11 is a now that doesn't have a single direction to go, like can spread into multiple directions. And now Yek, just like the wind, can go into unpredictable directions. And so 11 Yek can be we are talking about a very powerful day where things can be wild spread. If we do not pay attention, we are not focused on the stuff that we gotta do, on the tasks. Sometimes the wind can be a great, like the best helper, just to help us flowing, just pushing us forward towards the direction we like to go. But if we are not focused, the wind is likely to take us into any direction. Sometimes can be randomly good, but we don't want to bet using luck. So the more focused we are, like the more in tune with our visions, the efforts that we gotta do, or the tasks that we need to complete in this TRECENA, the better. The more we can use the force of the wind to do stuff. And here is another very powerful day for you to put things into action, for you to release stuff, for you to make announcements. So it's a very powerful day to spread your ideas, spread your communication. So bear in mind of this. But otherwise, like if you in the first part of the TRECENA you're just stagnant, you didn't pay attention, you just continue like with your melancholy, or just like completely dispersed with your ideas, like this 11 wind can just sometimes make you angry, can make you explode very easily. Because now Yek is a very explosive nawal, it's a very emotional nawal. And also in the beginning of the TRECENA I spoke about like the danger of this hob Ajmaq in here. If you're not focused, you can overflow blindness. Like the blinds, like we can continuously be doing mistakes and don't know like what we are doing. So then the wind can only make things worse. So like if you're already focused on stuff, this is a very powerful day. But if you are angry, try to dilute this stuff. Try to put your feet on the floor. Try to understand what you are doing so you can reduce the damage that this can provoke. Sometimes the wind can be the one that's going to be completely extinguish your flame and your energy over there if you are just too dispersed. Like you don't have no one has infinite energy. So that's why in this TRECENA we need to always be cleaning up and always removing all of the unnecessary weight that we have been carrying. Remember to always cut what doesn't longer serves us, so we can keep walking in this path in a light way, so we can keep building this stuff in a light way, because that's gonna be the best thing that we can do. So this nawal yik here, as I said, once again, can be a very powerful day for you to spread your communication, for you to throw things, but only if you are focused. Okay, so then we're gonna be moving to Aq'ab'al. Oops, I just jumped too much. Here's the 16. As you can see here in the graphics. So Aq'ab'al is gonna be talking about the unexpected clarity, the unexpected commanding of the stuff. Now 12 talks about the hidden balance of the TRECENA. It's the final moment of the TRECENA, like it's the last moment of the TRECENA to balance the stuff. If you feel that in this TRECENA you're accumulating too much on your back, if you're just helping like people like way more than yourself, or if you're just dedicating like too much time for other things rather than your what should be your focus, this is the moment for you to try to balance things up, or at least you try to reduce the damage that the accumulation will culminate in the final day. And now Aq'ab'al talks about the clarity, the first rays of the sun that start illuminating what is in the dark, for you to start shining sunlight what was previously in the dark to make you see better. As I said, like this is the accumulation of tasks, and as I mentioned in the beginning, sometimes we enter into do stuff without knowing what to do. So Aq'ab'al can be like this unexpected clarity that can maybe appear and then just reveal everything that can be done. You know, like those aha moments when you know like clearly the tasks that you gotta manage, you know, to concrete or to achieve some stuff that you're doing, or to see properly, just get out of the blindness that we spoke here in the beginning of the TRECENA. So this is the moment just to find clarity over the things we are pondering as well in the Waqib Naor over there in the beginning. So this is the moment where we should be able already to see where things are going to accumulate and what is the real tasks that we need to be involved. And also making sure that we do not extenuate our energy with unnecessary stuff. Because as you can see, this TRECENA is always about removing the burden, removing like the unnecessary weight that you have been carrying to walk your path no more freely. Just cutting the idea that doesn't work. Just cut everything that's unnecessary in your bag, the tools that you don't need. Like you don't need to be walking like this path, like too heavy. Because otherwise, Aq'ab'al is going to be representing whenever you get like some unexpected or extra complaints. We try to be too much perfectionist. If you avoid everything that you overlook everything or ignore everything that I've been saying here so far, Aq'ab'al is going to be a very heavy entity that is going to be there. It's going to be weighing you down and asking to perfect the stuff that you are doing, and that's going to be only meaning that you're going to be accumulating more pressure on your back. And as I mentioned since the beginning of the TRECENA, that's one of the things we would like to avoid. And then from Kawuq Aq'ab'al, we're gonna be moving to the final day of the TRECENA, the ruler Ushlahukat. 13 burning into ashes, or 13 efforts, or 13 tasks. And so this is gonna be like the accumulation of everything that we spoke in here. Now the 13 cats is the one that pushing time forward since the now 1A started showing, emerged over there. Is now 13 cats that is pushing everything in this TRECENA. So everything that is started, like with that new path over there in TRECENA, for us to set a new direction for the creations of the 13 bats TRECENA, now we need to find a way to flow with the tasks of this path. Or also to try to remove the melancholies we let grow over there, maybe from a frustration from the previous TRECENA. Because then moving, as we spoke about, the 2R is the moment where we had to do our calculations, what kind of things we need to change from those previous ideas, or to project the stuff that we need to transform. Now Kat is also a noun that talks about the transformation, but also in pregnancy is the transformation of the woman to take from her energy to give birth to a newborn, for the baby gestating over there. So it's also the process of a transformation. Is how you burn your energy in pro of the other, in pro of maybe your tasks or your project. So this is something that then our cat's going to be talking about. So in this 2R, we made our projections, how to lead things towards the very end, to make things get it out of the incompleteness aspect. So we could open the path to build the stuff in this tree Jaguar, so we can establish our vision in our Tz'ikin, so we can overflow with the complementary aspects, doing like the combining the stuff, finding the sponsors, to make things work, just to handle our tasks in Ajmaq, so we can ponder how our plan is going in Waqib Naor to make the final cut in the 70 hash. So then we can return with a brand new and fresh vision in Washakib Kawuq to gestate how to take things out of the darkness, how to handle our tasks in Junajpu, to converge, in strength with the Imox, so we can spread like all of this force and the communication in the now Yek, spread like the strength, and to be able to clarify and to see like more stuff in the Aq'ab'al, so we can accumulate all of the tasks, so we can resolve everything in a light way, so we can manage to do all the tasks, or manage to see what are the efforts that are necessary for us to complete the stuff that we gotta do. But on the other hand, just going from the cold side, maybe the melancholy that started in the 1A can make the now 2R be retracted in inertia, can be the one, or is bitter over there because of the frustration of the previous TRECENA. Then Ishvalam 3 Jaguar cannot open the path because it's barren, it enters into barrenness. Then Tz'ikin is going to be stagnant in the path with no direction, without knowing where to focus, going to be dispersed. So then 5 Ajmaq can be like the overflow of the mistakes that are going to be start committing. Then you're going to be pondering or overthinking stuff without finding a solution. Then 70 hash can be the biggest cut that can hurt us, that can be starting just making us feeling a little bit of pain over there instead of bringing healing. So then we'll return just being exasperated, just like having like this sudden rage that the Kawuq talks about, to be insecure in our own realm, in Belaya Junajpu, in converging craziness of those ideas because of the things you're accumulating on our back that are keeping weighing us down. then 11 gig can just make us, can make us, vulnerable to explode quite easily. Aq'ab'al is going to be bringing the complaints of the TRECENA, the aggressive as whenever you start just being too heavy on yourself. Then Oshla you're going to become you're going to end up in a very big extenuation. You're not going to be able to help yourself. You're not going to be able to help others. In your projects are not going to be going. So, but in the most case scenario, as I said, like in the as summarizing everything, this is the TRECENA to walk things in a light way, being focused, knowing how to cut the unnecessary stuff, knowing how to handle the stuff that we gotta do between like the efforts that we apply from our stuff and how we're gonna be tending to help the other as well. Because if you do not help yourself, how do we expect to help the other? And this, so like this, we finished the analysis of this TRECENA of Oshlahu and I'm gonna be starting getting prepared for the next TRECENA. That is gonna be the Wakib Naor, the 13 Naor TRECENA. And right now I'm gonna be answering the questions that is left here on YouTube. And if you have any more questions, let me know. Here on Instagram, I don't have questions. Hello, sir. I'm interested in hear about the consultation. Hello, ICO. So about the consultations, I have a direct link in my website over here. You can go to readings. In there, you can find everything about my consultations. I have the reading of the path over here. For those who are watching, I'm gonna be watching later on Instagram on mayathekeeper.me. That is a tab for readings over there. I have 4 types of sessions that are the reading of the path, which is basically consultation to know about your nawal, how was your gestation moments, to really know what is your nawal. Remember, although we put the date of birth of that, but what defines our nawal is our gestation. So in this session is how we're going to be finding out what is the force that really drives you through your path. And also we're going to be having the couples reading for those who would like to see if your loved one is complementary to you. If you are just starting to meet someone new, you can also get a reading to see if, the compatibility between these two. We have the career alignment for those who are entrepreneurs and like to use the Maya calendar to boost your projects, to start having more like insights on how to lead your business with the Maya calendar, increase your income over there. That's the session. And the luminary session, that is the session that is an open session. If you have a specific issue, like something that is blocking you, something that is keeping you in the darkness, you don't know how to resolve, that's the session. And in each session, open here on YouTube, like the live is finalized. So here in each session, you have a video where I go into details explaining how the session goes, but I also have the explanation over here, so you can understand how it goes, everything. And so for each session, I have everything very well explained over there, so you don't need to go back and re-watch the live. So it's better for you just to go back and take a look at these pages to see what kind of consultation is going to be the one that's going to suit you. Okay, and so if you have more questions, I'm gonna be here. So this is the first time that I'm doing the live here with this software, trying to share the screen. So just let me know, like, if you were able to see, if it was easy to to watch it. Um, and so if you don't have any more questions, we can finalize the live. And so, okay, so we can close the live for today. And so see you all in our next TRECENA analysis. Thank you all.